couple of weeks ago, I put out a story asking you for some Q&A, and I got a lot of answers. Just segmented them into, I guess, topics. So today, episode 1, equipment chat. So let's just get stuck into it. 7 Mile Golf Shop. Playing with game improvement irons, the equivalent of drinking Nescafe Blend 43 versus coffee. Blend 43 is coffee, but I'm going to assume that when you say coffee, you mean espresso-based drinks. And yes, absolutely, this is a perfect analogy. Like if we're talking from a coffee perspective and your number one goal when drinking coffee is to absorb caffeine as quickly as possible, Blend 43 is way better than espresso. Grab your cuppa, chuck a couple of spoons in, hot water, give that a stir, bam. You got yourself coffee, you got yourself caffeine in a drinkable form, which is sort of what like game improvement irons are. There are guardrails there in terms of preparing that coffee or delivering that club face to hopefully get the ball to do what you want them to do. Espresso is just like blades, is an art form, especially if you have an espresso machine at home. For example, you gotta buy the beans, grind the beans, dial in, worry about brew recipes, drink it, and realizing that half the shit that you did was wrong and your 250 gram bag of beans is now down to about 180, and you've effectively wasted $7 worth of coffee beans. But that's okay because you're convincing yourself that you actually like the process of making espresso. Or you could just pop to the shop and let the professionals make you an espresso, just like watching the PGA Tour and watching them all play blades. So yeah, great comparison. Couple of questions. So Hawsey and Mike Gazeas, similar way. If you had one club to play with for every round for the rest of your life, what club would it be? Considering it as a point in time question at the moment, I'd probably be gaming my TaylorMade M1 5-wood, just in terms of how well I'm striking it. If I were to have an exercise where, you know, someone would give me a club for the rest of the life to hit with, I'd probably say an 8-iron. Mitchell Danzig, do you think there should be more color options for club heads and shafts? What would be your setup? Absolutely, I'm a guy that's look good, feel good. I don't think I'd get a certain shaft and color combination head. You know, I'd probably do the things where I'd match my grips to ferrules, which is a really awesome thing. What I actually would do is, I saw this on the internet once, so I'm gonna put a picture somewhere here, where they built a half set, but instead of stamping at the bottom with like 6, 8, or pitching wedge, they went short, medium, or long. That's really cool. I think club personalization is awesome. I can understand why manufacturers wouldn't want to do it unless it's a limited run because of setting up production. You having to change like production workflows and everything. Part of the game an average golfer should focus on the most to improve their handicap. Black sails in the sunset. I think there are really easy gains to be had just through your equipment, and that is honestly understanding how far your gear goes. If you don't already know your carry distances for your wedges and irons, your woods and your drivers, you absolutely should be. I see so many golfers who don't know their own carry numbers and base their club choice selection on what their friends are hitting, or that one time they pured their 7-iron 170, 80 meters. Most accurate way to get your distances is go out to a simulator venue which has a launch monitor, a reputable one, so I think TrackMan or Foresight or Unicore. Bring your own ball as well. Hit 5 shots with each and average them out. That's your carry number that you're gonna pretty much base a lot of your decisions on hitting approaches into greens or deciding what hazards you need to cover. Also, while you're in the sim, go and understand your dispersion patterns. For example, I tend to fade my shorter irons and I tend to draw my longer irons. So I'll adjust that accordingly when hitting into greens, just based on that. This one I really like. 023_JC. Argument with a mate. Carry bags negatively impact round enjoyment levels. Discuss. This is my opinion, hard disagree. I carry my clubs and I find I actually enjoy rounds more when I carry my clubs versus when I push on a trolley or ride in a buggy. And I think it just comes down to how you want to enjoy your game. If your sole purpose in golf is just to go out and shoot the lowest scores possible at every opportunity you have, you will want to seek any advantage you have, and this may include having enough stamina at the end of the round. carrying may or may not be conducive to that. Also understand that not all golf bags are created equal. When I carry my full set, I game a Sun Mountain 2.5. So that's 2.5 pounds. It's probably like a kilo and a bit. Every manufacturer will have a lightweight bag of sorts, but you know, there are other stand bags that are already pushing 3 to 4 kilos just as a base model. So to put that into perspective, let's just demonstrate something. If you're starting off with a stand bag that is heavier, I'm going to assume that that is 2 kilos extra of weight just from the bag alone. So that is 2 bonsois. If you carry an extra 12, 13 golf balls that you really don't need because you just pick them up throughout the round and you don't take them out from your bag at the end of the round, that's another bonsoi in there. Let's just say as well, you pack the hell out of your sand bucket, you put it in the back there, and add, I don't know, another couple of jumpers, rain jackets that you haven't taken out, an umbrella that was really unnecessary. So that's another 2 bonsois there. Altogether, you are carrying on your bag this much bonsoi in your golf bag. There is an art to carrying, there is an art to going through your bag and making and understanding what's essential and what's not. Have a bag audit if you carry and you feel that it's too heavy. Jared Groth, most underrated piece of golf equipment other than a club. It is the golf ball, and it is not even close. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not playing with the same golf ball through the entire round, or the same type of golf ball through the entire round, you are doing yourself the biggest disadvantage ever. Golf balls do not perform the same across every brand and make out there. They're all designed to perform differently. So higher spin, lower spin, higher launch, lower launch. If you are not playing a consistent golf ball, you are going to get different results in just how the ball reacts off the club face, through the air, and most importantly, along the ground. Absolutely try and play the same golf ball as much as you can. Like, I cannot stress this enough. If you wanted to try and find out what golf ball is best for you, there's a great tool made by Ping called Ballnamic, an awesome database. Ping's a club manufacturer that has zero skin in the ball game. Their data is, I guess, brand agnostic. I understand you can input a bunch of parameters and it'll spit out like the 5 best balls that you should be looking at. Foreswing. What sparked your lifelong obsession for playing blades? Have you ever peered a blade from 150 meters out to stick it 4 meters away and zip it back to 2 meters? Neither have I, but apparently it's a really good feeling and I'm still waiting. 4G boy or 4G boy. Will the Kirkland and Takamos of the world ever start making a dent in the big guys? If we're talking market share, maybe Takamos, I think, or the other DTC manufacturers are making a good job, like making a little dent in the big boys. But if we're talking representation at the highest level, absolutely not. From a quality perspective, like, they're pretty good. I think DTC brands are doing a lot to grow the game from a dollar standpoint. Golf's not the most affordable of games at times, especially when you buy clubs new. And for them to offer, say, this sort of quality of clubs at the price point that they are, you know, that's awesome. I think the consumer us is definitely benefiting by these players being in the game. If blades didn't exist, what would you play? Well, obviously cavity backs, Loke, Roland. Duh. Nah, actually, good question. On the days where I don't actually take the blades out, well, currently I've got the Kirkland's, the Costco irons in the bag. And this is maybe an exercise in the best irons I've played. Rephrase it that way. Srixon Z745s, Wilson FG Tour M3s. I've got a set of Ping I2s in beryllium copper, actually. I take that out once in a while. Those are fun to play with. Last question is benzo, and this one's a bit of a hefty one. As a beginner, is it better to start with quality irons and okay driver, or quality driver and okay irons? Now, the question as worded is a little bit, Titleist blades and Srixon ZX7s are quality irons, right? But they are not best for beginners. But if you were to say a quality driver, such as from a major OEM, such as Titleist, Callaway versus Temu or Amazon driver, obviously the technology that's in the big brand names, the quality drivers will help beginners enjoy the game more. Now, if I were to interpret the question as a beginner, is it better to start with cheaper irons and a better driver, or cheaper driver and better irons? That becomes a lot tougher question to answer, because I don't think there's actually a right answer. Editor me here had some time to think on this question, and if we broke it down into a practical sense, so you had $500 to spend between an iron set and a driver to get both, the split I would usually get is $350 on the iron set, $150 on the driver, and if you kept increasing our budget, generally you would find the iron set would cost more. So that's the answer to that question, I guess, if we would take it in the literal sense. I did a reel a while ago on my Instagram, so go and check it out. Basically about building your first golf bag through buying either package or secondhand golf clubs. And the principles of buying secondhand golf clubs are stick to a major OEM. So like the title is the Callaways, your big boys. That way you're getting something quality. Trying to get as modern as you can. The newer the club, the more technology that is packed into it to help your game. And lastly, do your research and make sure that the type of club that you're getting, for example, your irons are game improvement irons rather than players' performance cavity backs. Just do your research and make sure that category of club is right for you. Anyway, that takes us to the end of gear chat, equipment chat. Really enjoyed doing that. I've got, I think, 4 or 5 other topics slated for it. So hopefully we'll release them in a regular cadence. Keen to hear your opinions or thoughts on anything that I had talked about before. Drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching.